SmartPSS Playback module instructions on how to retrieve recorded video and then archive that video onto external media. We begin by selecting the playback module. Left click. It should bring up a new window that provides 4 squares. From here, we need to choose the camera we wish to look at recorded video. You do that by selecting the camera from your list of sites over here on the right side. We click the plus sign to expand the list of sites, and then we could choose one of the cameras by selecting it and placing a check mark in that box. Once you have selected that, you can move to the bottom and choose the date that you would like to look at recorded video. By default, today will have the most current recorded video to the point where you went into the search function. So today's the 22nd. I can leave it there and just click OK, and then click search here down at the bottom. What that does is it reaches out to the recorder that this camera is installed on, and it provides you a timeline in the 24-hour period. This timeline is showing you the recorded video up until the point we went into the search function. As you can see, it is currently 3:27 p.m. The timeline is in military time. It's showing you up to 15:27, which is military time again. From here, you can actually left click on the timeline anywhere in the green area and start playing back the recorded video for that camera at that time. So I'm going to choose 3 a.m. just by left clicking on the green timeline, and the video will start playing at that time. You can also double click this camera, or this box, double left click it to make it full screen. You are currently looking at the recorded video from the time you selected on the timeline at 3 a.m. on this date. Some cameras will have the date and the time on them, some will not. Depends on your application. The timeline should be the most current time of this recorded video. From here, you can actually use the wheel on your mouse, if you have one, to expand this green timeline. If you look, currently it's set up for 1 hour increments. If you hover over the green timeline with your mouse and choose the wheel and push forward, it will actually start expanding that timeline into 30-minute chunks, and it'll even go into 5-minute chunks and all the way down into 1-minute chunks. So you have a slider down here. You can left click and hold the mouse button down and start going back to where the video is currently playing. If you go too fast, it'll show you where it's at. So it's playing from that point. Again, you can left click anywhere in this green timeline, and it'll advance that timeline to that time and start playing again. Now that you have the recorded video, you can take this recorded video and place it into an archive of external media, being a USB device, a DVD drive, external storage, anything that you would have external to your machine. You could also archive it directly to the same machine the software is installed on. However, you need to be aware that the video size can be very large, and you need to make sure you have enough hard drive space for this archive. To begin the archive process, you want to choose the beginning of the video. So I'm going to choose 3:10 on this playback I'm going to just left click on the green timeline, choose 310. I'm going to click pause for a second because I want to make sure it's at 310 in 1 second. Excuse me. If you want to look at the video before that, you just left click and hold the mouse button down and just go back a little bit before 310 and let go, and it'll start, at that point, and you can click pause until it gets to that point. You can then choose to begin the archive process by clicking the scissors over here in the lower left, or I'm sorry, the lower right. Click it one time. What that's going to do is it's going to mark the beginning of the archive process. As you can see here on the timeline, there's a left bracket that indicates that this is the beginning of the archive that we want to put on external media. From here, you just need to advance the video on the green timeline to the point where you want to end the recorded video or the archive video. So I'm just going to go up to, from 310 to, say 315. I'm going to left click on 315, and the timeline will advance to that, and just come over here and click the scissors one more time. When you do that, that's indicating the beginning of the timeline and the end of the timeline. It is still playing. You don't need to worry about that. Just let it go. This pop-up box is the export settings. What it's asking basically is, where do you want to store this recorded video, and what's the format? I'll explain the format in a second. The path is where you're going to store this video into archive format. You just click on the browse button and navigate to somewhere on your hard drive, this PC, if you got external media, if you got a network storage, whatever the case may be. So I'm just going to choose an external media here on a new folder. I'm just going to type, test folder or test video. Create the folder, select folder. That's where it's going to go. The export format. We recommend you use the original format. The reason why is because this video may be seen by individuals that cannot play normal video files. You have to have certain software installed on the machine in order to play these files. The original format file includes a standalone smart player and basically does not require installation onto a machine. You just add that along with the video file in the same folder. As long as those two files are together, it will play on any machine without being installed. So make sure that you choose original format and make sure there's a check mark under Export Smart Player and click OK. This is a message indicating the video is still playing in the playback mode. We need to stop it so that the machine can take this small portion of video and put it in that folder. So you just click OK. A new window will pop up showing you the start time and the end time and the file size. And then there's a status bar indicating how much time it's taken to take that small chunk of video to place it in an archived format. I'm going to go ahead and pause this video until it's done, and I'll be back when it's finished. Okay, so we took the recorded video, we set a begin time and an end time, and we chose a location to store that video along with the Smart Player executable. There's nothing under here because that was the exporting process, but you can confirm that it was exported by going to the Exported tab, and it shows you that the file was for the start time and the end time, the size, and that it did finish correctly. That's all you need to do from the SmartPSS side of things. You can exit out of that. Now, if you want to look at the recorded video in the archive format, you have to navigate to the folder where you stored it. So in our case, we put it on our external media. I created a file called test video, or a folder, I'm sorry. And here's the two files. Here's the video file, and here is the player. In our case, we have SmartPSS installed on this machine already. That's why this video file is already associated with the player. In situations where there's no video software installed on a machine, this file will be kind of whited out, if you will. It will not have a file association. So all you have to do is click the player, and as long as those two files are in the same folder, the video will show up in this player that doesn't require installation. It just runs. And now you can start playing that recorded video. Double click that window and it makes it full screen. You can go full screen here. And you can go full screen here to watch that recorded video. To get out of full screen, just double click the window. I'm sorry, you have to hit escape. Double click the window and you go back to 4 screens. And that is the basics of taking recorded video, cutting it at the beginning, cutting it at the end to archive it, and then storing it where it needs to be stored for archive purposes.